Hi everyone, today I want to show you something about this headphone here. It is the HEDDphone 2 GT. It is an open back headphone, so it has also an AMT driver. AMT means Air Motion Transformer, so it's a little bit of a different driver than, for example, a dynamic driver headphone or even a planar magnetic headphone. I will not go into much details on how this driver works or what's in there actually. But you see here a little picture that gives you a little bit of clarification how the driver actually looks. This headphone here does cost around 2,200 euros currently. It is made in Germany and has a 5-year warranty. So if you register it, it has a 5-year warranty on the driver and the mechanical parts. So just a little side note before we actually start now. Head Audio did send this headphone here for review purposes. But they didn't say anything what I can or cannot say, nothing at all actually, other than I tell you always my own honest opinion. So with this out of the way, let's get right into it and start the unboxing. Alright, here we have the package of the HEDDphone 2 GT. So if you turn this now, here at the back side you see a little bit of information. So what's included in the package, like the headphone, the travel case, the cables, and ear pads. At the right side you see a little bit of information about the headphone, so a little bit of text. If you want to read it, pause this video. Yes, and down here you see some technical specifications. So it is an open back over ear headphone with an AMT driver, and the diaphragm is a multi-layered Kapton polyamide film. And yeah, you can also see the sensitivity and the impedance and also the weight. All right, I would say let's open this up right away now. So you gotta just pull this. It also feels a little bit soft to the touch, the package here. And now you have some sort of closet style actually. So I guess you just pull that out. Yes. All right, so let's go for the accessoires first. All right, now you see quite neatly the cables and the adapters. So you have a 6.3mm cable, and you have the adapters here. Also XLR is possible. I think it should be 2 cables. Yes, it is. So they have a quite nice feeling to it. So the connectors itself seem to be metallic, and this one here is braided nylon material. So this is the second one. So you get actually 2 cables in the package. That's quite nice. And here you see the adapters you can use. So you put a 4.5mm here to get XLR, for example, or you put here the 6.3mm cable to get 3.5mm. Right, nice. The connections that are here should be enough for everybody. So here you have the ear pads. This is the leather material, so it is quite firm to the touch. So on the sides also you see left and right with a little sticker on it. All right, I guess that was the accessoires. Come on, go. Why? Okay, here you have the headphones itself now. Let's get that out. Really nicely packaged. All right, get that up. Okay, here you have a little manual that they are passionate about the music and so on. So also here you see some pictures about, yeah, the headphones itself with the logo and so on. And here you see the diaphragm that it was made in Berlin, so in Germany. Yeah, some more pictures. And about the cable, I think they say that it's hand braided. All right, let's go now and check out the headphones. All right, it's a quite sturdy travel case. So with a little latch so you can carry it. Let's open the zipper quickly. All right. Here are the headphones itself. Oops. All right, so they are quite heavy, but they feel quite nice here. This is a metallic grill. And yeah, the ear pads are now here a velour Alcantara material or something. And yeah, they have a nice cup swivel. And here you have a different kind of style headband. It is quite plushy and wide. So you can actually should be able to remove these ear pads. Yes, they are magnetic. So as you can see, here is the driver, but it seems to have a little bit of a dampening material in front. All right, should get that back on. Press it a little bit. All right. Otherwise, you have here the normal 3.5 headphone jacks that are easily accessible, so they're not seated in the cup or something. So here you can also change the headband with two different latches. All right, so this is probably for the height. Yep, okay. And the other one is, I guess, for the clamping pressure, so how far it can press the sides of the cups to your head. All right, so you can actually adjust quite a lot on this headphone. All right, let's close that again. All right, so that's the HEDDphone 2 GT. All right, so having unboxed them and been testing them for a while, what can I say about this headphone? So this headphone itself is made of carbon fiber and a magnesium material, so it should reduce the weight, but it does still weigh 550 grams, so it is rather heavy. But this headband here, the suspension headband, is quite wide and also very plushy, so the weight distributes itself quite nicely. I mean, you will still after some hours feel that it weighs a little bit more than, for example, HEDDphone headphone, but it does a good job on distributing the weight. Another thing that's really nice about this headband style is actually you have two little lashes here, and both of them allow you to adjust different things. So one is for the height adjustment and the other one is actually for the clamp force. So you can actually set it like how you want to have the clamp force. Some people might want a very strong clamp force, some like a little bit less. So you can actually adjust that here quite good. What you need to be aware of though is when you put the clamp force to be very light. If you put a headphone on and you're somebody who moves a lot or likes to headbang, this headphone, as you can see, wiggles a little bit on your head because of the weight. And if you don't put too much clamp force here, it just is a little bit wobbly. But if you make it a bit more clamp force, it stays more firmly on your head. But that's something you need to be aware of. It is highly adjustable to fit on your head. So I really like this approach of this headband. The ear cups itself here are quite firm. They're also not on the biggest side, but something I really like here is that they are fully magnetic. So replacing it is easy. And it also comes with a different set of pads, as you can see here. These are the leather pads, and this here is real leather, so no pleather material, no eco leather material here. So I guess they will keep up for a long time without flaking or anything like this. This here are the Alcantara pads, I would say. Like, they have a nice texture to it. I do prefer these pads here. But the good thing here is both of these pads actually sound very alike, or I cannot even distinguish a difference between the pads. So pad swapping is not a concern, so you can just take the pad that you want to take. Head Audio say to this that they want to allow people to just choose the pads they like without it affecting the sound. And I can confirm I really didn't hear much difference between the pads, so that's good. Here you can see the driver itself. As you can see, it has a little bit of damping here. I researched the previous version of this headphone and it didn't have that, so that's something they added to it. And if you put the pads back on, it's quite easy. You just need to make sure that you press it a little bit more firmly, because sometimes there's a little bit of a gap if you don't do that. So be aware of that. But otherwise, exchanging the pads is very easy. I like it. I think more companies should do it like this. Also, this headphone has quite a lot of cup swivel, as you can see. So it will rather fit most heads, I guess. The only thing you need to be aware of, though, is that the opening here is not the biggest. So your ears might touch the sides sometimes. But otherwise, I am quite happy with the ear pads and the material of them. So one thing I actually recognized when wearing it is that it isolates you a little bit from the outside noises. So not as a closed back headphone, of course, but still a little bit more than, for example, the HEDDphone headphones. So when you wear it, noises outside of the headphone are a little bit reduced, but it is still an open back headphone, but it's just a little bit less transparent or leaking sound than, for example, the HEDDphone headphones. So the headphone itself has quite standard ports here. These are the 3.5mm headphone jacks. So most of the aftermarket cables will work here that have this port. And the cable that comes with it actually comes with two different cables. One is a 6.3mm cable, as you can see here, and one is a 4.4mm cable. They are hand-braided nylon material cables. They feel quite nice to the touch. They are not too tangly. And it also comes with adapters, so you can put the 6.3mm cable to a 3.5mm cable, and you can put the 4.4 to an XLR connection. So it comes with a wide variety of possibilities to connect this one here to your amp. I personally really like the cable here, therefore I would say you can even stay with the stock cable, no problems at all. It is a decent cable. So this headphone also comes with this little carry case. It is a hard-shelled carry case. If you open it here with a zipper, the headphone itself has enough space in here. It also has a little lid here, so you can put your cables in here or adapters. So it works quite nice, and I wouldn't have to worry about it getting scratched or damaged while traveling. So it is a decent travel case to use. So about drivability, this headphone here has an 41 ohms impedance and a sensitivity of 88 dB per milliwatt. So it is a little bit of a power-hungry headphone. It is therefore not the greatest idea to use it with portable devices. I mean, I did test this headphone here with just this cheap little dongle jack from Ardi. I think it was around 30 bucks. And I could get this headphone loud enough, but it was not sounding as refined, or rather a little bit shrill. So yeah, it was not the greatest performance then with such a cheap dongle jack, but I could use it. I could get it loud enough to use. But I would suggest that you take at least a normal mid-range amplifier that will do just fine here. I did also a little test in comparison that I used the HE-1000 Stealth from HEDDphone. So this headphone here was sitting on the volume setting 30. In comparison, the HEDDphone 2 GT needed to be put on the volume setting 50 to reach more or less the same volume output. So as you can see, it is a little bit more hard to drive than, for example, the HEDDphone HE-1000 Stealth. So in regards to sound itself, this headphone here was aimed to have a little bit more of a consumer-oriented sound presentation than the previous version, for example. So they used here a specific dampening technique and also a new coating method, so a multi-layered polyimide film to lower the distortion of it. They wanted to prioritize a little bit more of the musical enjoyment and pleasure over the strict accuracy. So the previous version could be a little bit too bright and too detailed for some people to use to enjoy music. So they aim to have a little bit more of a version that has a bit more of a bass boosted tonality. and that should impact like the richness of the sound and the impact of it. And yeah, therefore you can see here the measurements head audio itself took from the two different versions, so you can see a little bit of the differences if you're into graphs at least. I didn't test the previous version of the headphone, so the HEDDphone 2. But I heard that it was missing a little bit of the consumer-oriented sound. So it was said to have an excellent technical performance, but it seemed to not have enough bass energy for most consumers to enjoy it. So HED took the feedback and published this new version of it. So it has a little bit more of a more bass energy, slightly warmer presentation, and it's a little bit also less bright. If you compare this now to HiFiMan headphones, it for sure is less bright than them. If you're a very sensitive person and don't really like much bright headphones, then this one here will be much more pleasant to you, I assume. It is still very detailed with a high resolution, so it's quite impressive that it doesn't really have any harsh edges to it. It is not sibilant. The soundstage is decently sized and accurate, but it is not as wide. It has a nice depth to it, but in regards to a wide soundstage, if you compare it to the HiFiMan headphones, they for sure have a wider soundstage than this headphone. But if you compare this also to the sheer size of the driver itself here, it would make sense that the HiFiMan headphones do have a wider soundstage, because the driver itself is just much bigger. But it didn't really have much impact on the enjoyment of the music. So to my ears, this headphone really has a quite smooth and relaxed presentation. If you found, for example, HiFiMan headphones like the 1000 Stealth here too bright, too shrill or something, then I can see definitely that you will be much more happy with the HEDDphone 2 GT here, because it is having a smooth and relaxed sound presentation that is, for my ears at least, not fatiguing to listen to, also for a long time if I listen to music. So I can see people enjoying this headphone quite a bit. So since this is just my own ears and my own honest opinion, I prepared a little bit of a sound test, so you can actually hear with your own ears and how you perceive the sound from this headphone. Therefore, I recorded with binaural microphones from Sound. You see here how they actually sound, and also compared it to some other headphones. The only thing I ask you here is please to wear headphones if you can, because then it gets more clear on the different sound changes and it gets more easily to spot. So I would say let's get right into it to start the sound test.
Old friend, you've traveled miles, spinning in circles, your blind eyes on the dial, stripping out the colors. A man whose steps leave no trace. A man whose voice sounds like tears. A man whose memory erase. A man whose time flow of beats. You learn that all is not in vain. All that matters remains. But it's time to say goodbye until next life. A man who stands steps leave no trace. A man whose voice sounds like tears. A man whose memory erased. A man whose time flow of beats.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. Guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away. As you fade away.
Yeah, I'm about to fade away, cause every time I wake up I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look at anything the same way. Got a buildup of my thoughts sitting in an ashtray. I'm sorry that I'm so inconvenient, okay. Just let me be me and I'll stay out of your way. I can see the way you look at me, I'm such a disgrace. I never really asked to be brought into this place. You wanna love me? Well then baby have a taste. All the highs and the lows, no you'll never be the same. I don't really wanna hurt you but I can't control the pain. If you're sticking by my side, maybe we could be okay. Okay, maybe you could be the change I need today. I promise that I've never felt this way. I really hope that you will choose to stay through all the pain.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. Guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away. As you fade away. As you fade away.
Alright, so that was the little sound test of the HEDDphone 2 GT. Let me know in the comments down below how you found the sound test, how you liked the headphone. And I guess we are finished now with the review. I hope you've liked it, and if you did, please consider hitting the like and subscribe button to support me a bit, so I can actually keep on doing headphone reviews for you also in the future. And yeah, I guess I see you next time. Ciao, ciao!